What's going on, Aim Squad?
What's going on, Aim Squad?
We are back for another week episode, week 15.
Yes.
We want to start off by apologizing to our fellow listeners.
Yes, we apologize.
We did miss Thursday Night Football.
We missed Thursday Night Football.
It
was all on me. We'll put it that way.
No, it's okay.
You know, life happens. I kind of got injured, but let's not get into that. We're past that, but we didn't make Thursday happen. But you know what that means, Irshad? If we didn't make Thursday happen, we're coming on to Sunday with a bang.
We have to.
No, it's happening. We have to. It's happening.
No, we have to make the podcast.
Yeah.
And we're going.
Yeah.
3-0.
Oh, yeah.
We're going 3-0.
We're going 3-0. But yes, what a game, though, on Thursday.
Yeah, you know what? I'm to a certain degree, I'm obviously sad that we missed the game in terms of, AIM Sports.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an exciting game.
It wasn't. It was no touchdowns.
No touchdowns. It was literally a game of football.
That's it.
Field goals all day.
All day, that's it. Nothing else. It was just here, kick it. But it was a true division game, though. Like, it was a true division game.
Yeah.
Just, stop the team. Which team was going to make the, mistake.
Yeah.
They both played, hey, we know you. We've played you multiple times. We're going to square up, and we'll get any points as we can.
Yeah.
Because we need to stay within the game, and also I'll fight for a division.
Of course.
The Rams came on top. They were +3 underdogs. They won by 3.
1 by 6.
Sorry, 1 by 6. They got that 2. Yeah, they covered. There you go. And yeah, San Francisco's playoff chances are at 1%, while the Rams, they keep their season alive and have a chance to either win division or you sneak into the wild card.
I know, and you know what? Like, it was a good outing for Kyren Williams. We know San Francisco was a good defense. Kyren Williams still came up, showed out, picked up over 100 yards rushing. That was great. But, overall, the fact, I think you mentioned, it was a good division game, playoff implications on both. But it was kind of a game that I think that we would have reported on anyways, for it to be a close game.
For sure.
Right? Like, the total Vegas had was 48.5. The total here was 18.
Yeah.
We knew this was going to come something like this. Both these teams are fighting for their playoff lives. They're not going to go overly aggressive. They're not going to start doing long bombs. They're not going to get the chance of getting picked off. We saw that at the end with Purdy.
Yeah.
And it cost him. But it's things like that. So, all to say is it was a close game. San Francisco, unfortunately, starts to rebuild, which I think we kind of saw preemptively in the season early on when C-Mac was injured.
It started off like that, where they came
That's when it was tough.
and they just couldn't, injuries after injuries. And
then when Ayuk got injured, I think that was the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, Debo got injured midway through. Kittle missed some time. Both the running backs are out. Purdy got injured too. Like, the whole team got injured. Defense, offense, everybody.
And then to add insult to injury, Campbell walked off.
Yeah.
During the game.
Exactly. So that team chemistry, there's something they need to fix up quick.
They do. And that's what the rebuild is for.
Come back next year. Go back to the drawing board.
And LA still lives on to fight another day. So
exactly. That offense is lethal, though.
They are.
Score touchdowns.
They are. And they'll be back week 16. So stay tuned for that.
There we go.
Now on to Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Football. Let's go.
That's where it is. That's where the money's at. So let's get into it. So our record's coming into Sunday. Ulner, you're 14, 22, and 3.
Yep.
I'm 18, 18, and 3.
Yeah.
And, we got 3 games of the week lined up.
Yeah, we do.
Why don't you introduce the first game of the week?
All right, first game of the week, we got the black and yellow Pittsburgh Steelers versus, I guess, green and white Philadelphia Eagles. We got a big game here.
Yeah.
A big game here. This is going to be a tough matchup, but no pickings for Pittsburgh. We got Russell Wilson going in there. It's going to be some cold weather.
Yeah.
And Philly has something to prove in this game.
I think so.
They got a lot to prove. The media's out to get them, as everybody knows. A.J. Brown, hasn't been out here. He hasn't been, going into just hit on himself. Him and Jalen Hurts haven't gone into themselves.
And it's vocalized. They're broadcasting their problems. They're airing out their dirty laundry out there, which I think amplifies the disconnect, the chemistry breaking. Because when you air out your dirty laundry, especially in the world of sports media, especially in the world of Philadelphia, such a sports team, a sports city, it can cause rifts.
Yeah.
Right? You, for lack of better words, start getting your agents to start shopping you around in different teams. You kind of get some conversations. You get different organizations kind of vulturing in. And it starts to make you have the whole fallacy of the grass is greener.
Yes.
So you're not really in it.
You're not
you know what I mean?
You're just there.
You're just there trying to run through the motions. But to be a truly impeccable Super Bowl team, you have to be 110% there.
And everybody has to be on the same page. It's not
everybody.
Just you. There's no pointing fingers.
Yep.
So this is going to be a big game.
It'll be a big game. And And I think that's important. So, Alner, let me throw it to you first.
Yes.
What is, obviously we know the spread is Philadelphia minus 5.5.
Yes.
So let me throw it to you first. Let the folks know what your call is, why you're thinking what you're thinking, and what that looks like.
Let's just get it off here. The Pittsburgh Steelers have lost 10 straight games in Philadelphia, failing to cover the spread in 9 straight games on the road against the Eagles. That's just the first stat I'll throw out there. The Steelers do not like playing in Philadelphia. There's something in that Philadelphia air that Philly just only knows how to breathe in and Pittsburgh doesn't.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good matchup. Tomlin already has a winning season. He's not worried about his season going into shambles. We know they're making the playoffs. They're going to be a really good team.
Yeah.
Now, we also know that the Pittsburgh Steelers also like to play in one-score games.
Yeah.
Spread here, 5.5. Yes, it's a one-score, but not really because of a field goal, and then you have a touchdown as well. But now we were saying before, too, Philadelphia Eagles need to come as a unit.
Yep.
They need Jalen Hurts throw the football to A.J. Brown. He needs to throw to Devontae Smith. He also needs to throw and have, Saquon Barkley run. And Jalen Hurts wants to run the ball himself, too.
Yep.
That defense needs to come intact. They need to come out and play the best football that they could ever play. Yes, we know Jalen Hurts is not the best when he's a favorite covering the spread. He's 25, 24, and 1 against the spread.
Yep.
And it's just when a team is above 500, he's only 13 and 16 against the spread. So it shows Jalen Hurts likes to play against teams that are over 500 and that are really good because he wants to show, hey, don't count out the Philadelphia Eagles as Super Bowl contenders.
Yep.
Speaking of that, I don't see Pittsburgh coming out winning this game. But at AIM, we don't talk about just winning. We talk about covering the spread.
Right.
And with it being cold, Elliott for the Eagles being struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel the Eagles are going to go and try to score a touchdown rather than kick field goals.
Yeah.
Yes, even if they do kick 2 field goals, that's 6. Or they score a touchdown and don't get the 2-point conversion, that's still 6. I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles minus 5.5. They continue that trend. It's going to be cold. Pittsburgh's not going to be able to breathe that Philadelphia air. And don't forget about those Philly fans. Those Philly fans are ruthless.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, the Pittsburgh Steelers have a short week as well, too, because they go into Saturday playing the Baltimore Ravens, which is a division game.
Yeah.
With that, I say that if they lose this game, the game next week is going to be a big matchup.
It is.
Because if they lose 10-4 and the Ravens win next week 9-5, that game could also implicate who could even lead the division, even though Pittsburgh owns a tiebreaker.
Yep.
But but if Baltimore comes out and wins, hey, big implications. But give me the Eagles, lock it in minus 5.5, my brother. What do you have?
I think you brought some good points. I think from a perspective, that's actually a good call out. I think you mentioned like next week's divisional implication.
Yeah.
That's so severe because it's a 1 and 2.
Yes, correct.
Who's going to solidify wild card? Who's going to, lock up the division is going to be done next week for sure. Now, you mentioned an interesting thing at the very beginning. Pickens is out.
Correct.
Right? And when you look at it from a sheer perspective of, the Tomlin's Steelers this year, they are 5-0 against the spread when listed as dogs, which they are this time. Mm-hmm. But Pickens is playing each game.
Yes.
Pickens is out this game. So it does change the dynamic a little bit. They're also playing Philadelphia. And I think between the two teams, Philly needs to, this is a make or break for Philly, right? They both have stellar records, but who has to prove themselves more today? Or on Sunday, rather.
Yes.
It is going to be the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Tomlin, from the debacle and the makeshift and the piecing that they've otherwise had to experience when it comes to their quarterback and various things like that, I think Tomlin doesn't have anything more to prove, right? He's had a winning season for the last, 10 years? Mm-hmm. This is why he's been with the Steelers this long.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Plus, he's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Eagles have had ups. They've had downs, and the fact of the matter is you have Jalen Hurts, you have arguably the best running back in the NFL this season, potentially crushing NFL records along the way. On paper, it needs to be the Eagles, but yet they've been losing. You cannot lose. I think the fact that Steelers are playing this well with who they have, Russell Wilson, post-prime, Pickens, you don't really have any key stellar standouts where you're like, hey, you have a C-Mac, or you know what I mean? That you can hide behind someone in the Steelers organization. This is a truly team-first mentality, and I think that Steelers have that in the bag. Eagles, on the other hand, like you mentioned, they've aired out their dirty laundry. Their chemistry's broken. The only thing that seems to be working is the backfield with Saquon. You can't keep running the ball. You have to have someone with Jalen Hurts' caliber throwing it. It has to happen. So that's very, very important. But also, there's obviously the big conversation around the third player.
Yes.
Mr. Alan Eck is reffing the game. Now, home teams in 2023 under Alan Eck's officiating were 11-5 against the spread, over 2 times more likely to cover the spread. So this tells me right out of the gate, Alan Eck has a definitely affinity towards, the home team and the home team covering.
Correct.
Right? Now, like I said, taking it back, it's going to be Sports Town, Philadelphia, afternoon game. Yes, it's going to be cooler. I mean, we are at the time of the year. But I think just the reality of it is Jalen Hurts is going to come out swinging.
Yep.
He's going to say, hey, listen, I'm going to keep you guys guessing. I'm going to pass it to A.J. Brown. I'm going to pass it to Smith. I'm going to pass it to even check down to Saquon. I'm going to pass it to anybody and to anyone who, just to kind of keep the ball guessing. You know what I mean? And I think you're going to see a more versatile Jalen Hurts. I think you might even see Jalen Hurts picking up some rushing yards. You're going to see that overall involvement. All I can say to this is, yes, this will be a tough matchup.
Yep.
No, it's not going to be a blowout, but I do think the Eagles will cover.
Yep.
And I'm also rolling with Philadelphia minus 5.5, brother.
Let's go. That's the first game right there. Philadelphia Eagles minus 5.5. Alan Eck is going to bless us. He's going to like the home team.
Yep.
Let's lock that in. But now let's get into a second game.
All right.
This second game is huge.
Big game, second game.
Woo.
Now, the second game is it could be potential Super Bowl final.
It could be the first game too with the Eagles and Pittsburgh.
It could
They're
be
on opposite sides, but this one I feel is a bigger implication.
I mean, for sure. I mean, in this game, you guys may have already guessed it.
Yes,
it is the white hot Buffalo Bills
yep.
and Josh Allen and company against the white hot Detroit Lions.
This is a hot versus hot matchup here.
This is something unreal, right? You had Josh Allen put up career numbers and still take an L last week.
Correct.
He's hungry.
He's super hungry.
Okay. You have Detroit Lions on an 11-game winning streak. Okay. They've only lost 1 game, and that was at home. So right now, as it stands, Detroit's favored minus 2.5. I'm going to throw it to you first again. Woo. What's your take? What's your thought? Let them know.
Once again, I'm going to look ahead at this game. You look ahead at this game. If you see Buffalo Bills here, yes, they are playing the Detroit Lions. But then you take the Buffalo Bills, they are going to go play New England Patriots, which is a division game. Which doesn't mean much to them. Yes, they've already locked up the division. But as I said for the first game, I feel the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to lose that game. With them, that also allows Buffalo to take a loss in this game. Why? Because they'll have the same record. Buffalo owns a tiebreaker. Buffalo has an easier schedule running out as they're playing, New England next week. Play a couple of easy games. They should lock up the second seed.
Yep.
I don't think Detroit is going to take a loss here due to the fact that if the Eagles do come out and win the game, they may be tied for the same record. Right? And I don't see Detroit doing that because they're 12-2 if they do, and the Eagles will go 12-2 if they win. I don't think the Detroit Lions are losing home field advantage. No. This is their year. This is going to be like one of the top and best seasons from remember back in the day with Calvin Johnson, they were 0-17?
Yeah.
And now you're only losing 1 game? Aside from all the facts, aside it being indoor, yes, Josh Allen is hot. We know Goff plays really good football indoor. Josh Allen, yes, plays really good football. He's the leader of that team. But aside from all of that, I think Detroit covers here, 2.5 points. I think this game's a field goal game. This line may even move to -3, going towards it, so people will get a push. We're kind of trying to get it early here. -2.5 Detroit Lions. Like I'm riding them.
That's a bold call. So all know you're right going Detroit -2.5. I'll start off with this one. Let's go third player first.
All right, go third player first.
So we have Adrian Hill.
Yes.
Reffing tomorrow's game. Sunday's game. Now when he refs, home teams are 43-39 against the spread. Okay. Last year, 2023, he is 12-5 against the spread. Nearly 2.5 times likely for the home team to cover the spread. Okay. But that's one component. Let's look at it from Goff and company and how they do. Now, Jared Goff, since 2018, has the best mark of any quarterback in the NFL of playing at home and the record against at home. He's 34,
Yeah.
20, and 3.
63%.
Against the spread at home. 63% of the time, Jared Goff covers the spread when playing at home. That is huge. But let's take it even one step further. Indoor versus outdoor. Where did Jared Goff come from? Which team did he play for before?
He played for the Rams.
And that was an outdoor arena.
Correct.
Now he's playing for Detroit this time.
Yeah.
This is an indoor arena.
Yeah.
And when he plays indoor, he is, in his career, 43, 20, and 1 against the spread. Nearly 2 times as likely to cover the spread indoors.
Damn.
But in the last 4 seasons, he is 33, 12, and 1. Almost 3 times as likely to cover the spread when he plays indoors. And you know what? They're in a hot hand. Team chemistry's up there. Everyone's firing on cylinders. Dan Campbell is coaching some of the best coaching we've seen. Everyone's firing. And I think this is going to be another game where he takes it. Now, I will give Josh Allen credit where he's due. Okay? Let's take a step back. Last week, he had a hand in every single touchdown, whether he rushed the 3 or threw for 3.
Correct.
He touched every single point that went on the board.
The offense goes to him, even though he's the quarterback. Makes sense.
It goes through him. Mm-hmm. And in spite of that, they still lost.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, one thing here is when you look at the Josh Allen as an underdog. As an underdog, he's 18, 14, and 2. So definitely more favorable. Mm-hmm. Okay? But when the Bills are off a loss, which obviously was an exhausting loss last week, when he is an underdog after a loss, he is just 5 and 6 against the spread.
Damn.
Okay, so that's when, this obviously he's an underdog, a loss, just 5 and 6 against the spread. I mean, you're more inclined to lose.
Correct.
Okay, now the reality of it is Josh Allen has never lost consecutive games outright versus a team in the NFC.
It's the first time for everything.
And that's exactly it. The same way it was the first time last week where he dropped 42 points and still lost to the Rams, who are still outside looking in. Mm-hmm. So there is a first time for everything. And I think this NFC team, Detroit of 2024, is a different breed.
Oh, different breed. Like, they're a juggernaut.
Through and through. So, all that being said, an exhausting outing last week, 42 points. You had Josh Allen touching everything. You have a white-hot Detroit Lions, a white-hot Jared Goff playing indoors. I think, you know what? I'm going to roll Detroit minus 2.5 as well. Because Adrian Hill's going to help us get there.
Exactly. 1 possession game. We'll take that. There we go. So we got 2 home hot teams. We got the Eagles first game minus 5.5. We got the Lions second minus 2.5. We're both riding together. The third and final game, Sunday Night Football. Woo, we got the Cheeseheads and the Seahawks in Seattle. Seattle leads the division. Green Bay wants wild card. This is going to be a big, big, big game. I don't know. We were saying from before, too, from the first week we recorded, Irshad.
Yeah.
What's up with the Green Bay Packers? A lot of analysts, even we were sitting here saying, how are the Green Bay Packers going to get Super Bowl? Or be in the conversation, matter of fact, of Super Bowl. And now you sit here and have a team with the Jordan Love, a lot of injuries, sure. Got Josh Jacobs, in the offseason, and are sitting here at 9-4, second wild card position. They're not catching up Mini, because Mini's 11-2.
No, yeah.
But even then, you have 3 teams in the division with the Lions, Vikings, and Packers all making the playoffs. Woo, these 3 teams are hot, and they're well known to each other.
Yeah.
So in the playoffs, if they do meet each other, it could be a problem. But now you look at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are not very fond at playing home. They like to be playing on the road a lot.
Yeah.
And to be honest, in the first couple of weeks, their defense was not all there up to par. In the last 8 weeks, their defense has been top 5 in every category in the NFL. But let's not get it wrong. The Rams just got a win on Thursday, so they are 8-6, technically tied or up half a game back from Seattle. You have the Cardinals, who are underneath them, 6-7. San Francisco 6-8, where we don't see them we don't see anything happening there.
Yeah.
Now when you look ahead, because I love to look ahead a lot. You look ahead, and you have Seattle playing mini. You have Seattle playing mini next week. Seattle also needs to win. Mini needs to win because they want to keep their playoffs alive. Mm-hmm. But it also comes down to a few weeks later on, because at the end, the last week of Week 18, you will see the Seattle Seahawks face off the LA Rams. Now, if the LA Rams and Seattle Seahawks want to be at par, they may have to have the same record going up and down, back and forward, winning and losing. I think Green Bay, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs going into Seattle. Geno Smith, has played really good games, but I feel Geno Smith may have his mediocre game where he might just, have a couple of turnovers and whatnot. Give me the Cheeseheads -2.5.
All day. And you know what? I think there's a level of sentiment I'm going to agree with, because I think Green Bay, definitely a different Green Bay that we saw at the beginning of the season.
Correct.
But let's go Clete Blakeman as the referee tomorrow, or on Sunday. I mean, when he refs, home teams, since Blakeman started reffing, it started 2016, home teams are 61, 67, and 3 against the spread. Mm-hmm. All right? What that essentially means is the away team typically covers a spread, which is great, because in this case, Green Bay is favored by -2.5. But let's not get caught up with just the actual refereeing, though that helps. Only rub a good point. Seattle and Geno love the road. Mm-hmm. Not a fan at home.
Not a fan.
They're 2-5 against the spread at home.
Yeah.
That is abysmal. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay? That is horrible. Now, when you look at it from the degree of the spread with Geno Smith, he has struggled mightily in night games. He's 3-11 straight up. However, the spread, he's 9-5. So the spread, he could definitely have the opportunity to cover, but he tends to lose these games. Now, this game being less than a field goal, I don't imagine Geno and company are working their way into trying to play their heart out here. Now, I know they're first NFC West. I do know this. But you also are inviting a team, Josh Jacobs. You have a Jordan Love that's finally fit into his own. And I know it's been 3 years since they've played, but the last time they played, Green Bay beat them 17-0.
Yeah.
Okay? Home record, we know, is not the greatest. Road record is actually positive for the Packers. And then you look at the sheer comparison in offense versus defense. Okay? Geno likes to throw. That's great. We also know that the Green Bay's defense on passing is a little bit lower. Sure, no problem. But you know what? Seattle does not have their starting running back. Nope. And Green Bay's rushing yard defense is a top 10 defense, which means they can actually clamp down and shut that down real quick, forcing him to throw, forcing him to now create. Then you have the defensive coordinators looking at it throughout the entire game and making changes and audibles as needed to actually maybe call, cover 2, cover 3, and actually just draw the defense back. Reality of it is also, this is a top 10 defense from Green Bay. Yep. In terms of points allowed on defense. So it's going to be a tough matchup for Geno just to throw it. He may throw it, he may not be able to convert.
Correct.
That's just the sheer reality of it. But then you look at the passing yards of Green Bay, also top 10. Mm-hmm. Rushing, top 5. And points, top 7. So when you look at it, Green Bay's offense is more power-packed than Seattle. The defense is better than Seattle. All of which, while Kenneth Walker is doubtful. Mm-hmm. I think when you look at this game this way, you have a Seattle team that obviously doesn't like playing at home, or plays poorly at home. All right, and then you have the Cheeseheads coming in -2.5, a decent spread. Mm-hmm. If it was anything more, if it was 6 or more, I'd probably have a bit of a conversation. But 2.5, I'm taking Green Bay.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where I'm at, because now when you see the NFC North, you look at it from that degree, it is a tough division.
It is, yeah.
It is a tough division, right? This is where I think Green Bay will shine.
Yes.
And this is where I think they'll have to play better than Seattle. You have NFC North Green Bay, 9-4. 13 games.
Yeah.
9-4 in the third.
Yes.
The same Seattle Seahawks also played 13 games, are 8-5, have literally lost an entire game and somehow still stand first in the NFC West. Yeah. How does that make any sense?
The NFC West just is not playing good football.
Exactly. So, all to say, I think the caliber when it comes to Green Bay is much higher, much stronger, and I'm taking also Green Bay -2.5.
There you go. And let's say Geno's 2-10 straight up as underdog in primetime.
Yeah.
So even then, he's just going to throw the football. We like Green Bay's defense here. There we go. There you guys have it. All 3 games. Massive games. Massive playoff implications. But me and my brother are riding together. We're going 3-0 this week.
Yep.
Lock it in. Eagles -5.5. The Lions -2.5. And the Cheesehead Green Bay Packers -2.5. Let's go.
There you go. Lock that in. But no Aim Sports is ever completed without our betting props. So, as we always do, let's get into our anytime touchdown. Ulner, who do we have for our anytime touchdown?
We got Mr. Canadian himself, Chuba Hubbard.
There we go.
Having a season of a lifetime, a season of seasons for him. At 1.72 times your unit, he is going to find the end zone against the worst rushing defense in the NFL.
Oh, goodness.
The Dallas Cowboys.
100%. Worst rushing defense? I'd argue the worst team.
Correct.
The worst team.
Because he almost found it against Philadelphia either.
Yeah.
And he had a hell of a game.
And take this in. I may add, I know we're not talking this game, but what I will add is Carolina is actually favored to win.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
The favorite, Chuba Hubbard's going to lead them.
Yep.
Him and Bryce Young, he's finding the paint. Lock it in. Trending bet, Hubbard, touchdown.
There you go. Next, we're moving on to our parlay. So, let's kick it off. One thing, we're going to do a very special parlay for the first time ever. We know overall field goals for games have been amazing for us.
Yes.
So, we are doing an field goal special parlay.
Yeah, correct. Let's put it that way. Yes.
All three legs here are all field goal related. Now, let's get it started. First leg, over 2.5 field goals in the Houston and Miami game.
Mm-hmm.
Second leg, over 2.5 field goals for the Buffalo and Detroit game. Then we have over 2.5 field goals for the Tampa Bay and LA Chargers game. Collectively, you're looking at times 3.1 times your unit.
Yeah.
That is crazy. You have a great weather Miami. You have an indoor arena Detroit, and you have a sunny LA. This is prime easy parlay, lock it in.
Yeah, there we go. 3.1 times your unit. I love it. We're going to find out what football is called football. Kicking in the uprights. There we go. Now that leads us to our final part, fantasy.
Yep.
Fantasy here is really big, but let's just get it started. Quarterback, Joe Burrow.
Yep.
Joe Burrow needs a win against the Tennessee Titans. He's going to come out, throw the football. Him and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins are going to team up. I think he's going to throw for maybe 3+ touchdowns. He might even score one himself. Who knows? But Joe Burrow as our quarterback. Running backs, we got prime running backs. We got our boy, Money Mixon.
Yeah.
We've been riding Money Mixon all season long. We're going to continue to ride with him. And then we have someone from the game of the weeks, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
We think he's going to run all over Seattle's defense. He's also going to find the dirt, have a massive game. Irshad, tell them where wide receivers are.
So for our wide receivers, we got a high-powered game, which is the Buffalo Bills Detroit Lions, where the over-under is 54.5. We're thinking Amon-Ra.
Yes. St.
Brown's going to be a beneficiary of maybe one, maybe even 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But definitely a lot of looks, definitely a lot of receptions.
Yep.
Our second game is coming from the Monday night game, which is the Minnesota Vikings, where they're favored by 7. Mm-hmm. And that's me, JJ, Mr. Justin Jefferson himself.
Yep.
Lock that in. And Ulner, who do we have for our tight end?
So we have this tight end, McBride. McBride's having a season with Kyler Murray. He's Kyler Murray's favorite target.
Yeah.
We thought it'd be Harrison Jr., but hey, McBride gets his checkdowns. He finds the end zone. We think he's going to have a big game against the Patriots. He's Kyler Murray's safety blanket. McBride, lock it in, tight end. Irshad, defense.
And then defense, we have a game that's happening tomorrow where the spread, Ulner, I haven't seen the spread this long.
This is the largest spread of the season.
-16 for the Baltimore Ravens against the Giants. So we're taking the Ravens defense. Obviously, the defense is very good. And against a subpar offense, we think they're going to lock it up.
Well, I don't know if you heard the reason why we all took Ravens. I don't know if you heard the Giants had a practice.
Yeah.
And in Baltimore or wherever they were,
they're playing in New York.
In New York, they had a practice with their own team. At the end of the practice, they had completed only maybe 2 passes against their own team. It was 0-16 that they went through.
Oh my
DeVito
God.
couldn't throw the football. The wind is crazy out there. The Giants can't even practice and score a touchdown in practice. Yeah, the Ravens defense is going to eat them up, swallow them up,
Oh my God.
spin them back out, whatever they got to do, demolish. I don't even think the Giants won't even score any points on Sunday.
I wouldn't even be surprised. I think Ravens are coming out hungry.
They're just going to come on and just demolish them.
And the Giants have yet to win a game at home.
Yeah, so there you got this beautiful recipe for them, Ravens defense. And then our kicker, football's about kicking. We have him on our 3-leg parlay from the Chargers. We got Dicker. He's going to come out, and he's been on a hot streak.
Yes.
The Chargers have been kicking a lot of field goals, and he's been keeping them in games. So let's lock that in right there. I'll give you a quick recap. Joe Burrow, quarterback. Mixon and Jacobs as running back. Amon-Ra and JJ as wide receivers, McBride as tight end, Ravens defense, Dicker as the kicker.
And that is the Week 15 football.
There we go.
Lock that in. Make sure you guys have it all together. So Ulner and I are rocking all 3 games. We're calling the favorites. Philadelphia at -5.5. Detroit -2.5. Green Bay -2.5. Do straights, do parlays, whatever you feel comfortable. Anytime TD Hubbard. Parlays we went over. Field goal special. And my cousin Ulner just said, brother, we have a solid daily fantasy lineup, brother.
We do.
This is going to be a great Week 15. We're making up from the miss on Thursday Night Football.
Correct.
So let's lock that in. And we are going to be challenging our records. Obviously, we know Ulner, Ulner, you're 14-25-3.
Yeah.
I'm 19-20-3. We have to get back above 500.
Let's do it.
And I think this weekend is the week to do it.
It's going to be the week where we get back into it. But there you guys have it, folks. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone listening out there. We appreciate the love you guys are giving us. Appreciate the follow, the like, the share. But yet, we got to let you know, remind you, bet responsibly, bet what you can afford. Ride with us. Let's eat. Let's have fun. Get your popcorn ready. From AIM Sports, myself and my brother, we out and ready for Sunday football.
Enjoy.
Peace.
Peace.